Hi everyone, this is Brian Hayes and welcome to a discussion on the effective use of one of these little devices. This is known as a capo, C-A-P-O, and you'll often see guitarists and banjo players and other fretted instrument players with one of these devices engaged on the neck of their instruments. So if you've ever wondered what a capo is used for, it basically reassigns the position of what we call the nut on the guitar, N-U-T, but it's a virtual fret zero. When we strum across the guitar, we're not pressing our fingers down on any fret. Well, this is actually the equivalent of fret zero. And what a capo does is it lets us shift fret zero further up the neck. And it's the equivalent as if we had tightened the strings up to bring the tuning of the guitar up higher depending on where we place the capo. So for example, this is open, but if I bar the first fret, you can hear that I've raised all of these notes up a semitone. But I can't do much guitar playing if I've got to press hard down with my index finger to essentially retune the guitar. The capo lets me retune the guitar just by where I place it. So instead of putting my index finger on fret 1, if I actually put the capo just behind fret 1, the same places where I put my finger, I've permanently, in virtual mode, retuned the guitar up a semitone. Now, from a musical perspective, that can be an amazing, useful tool. The riff I played at the start of this tutorial is actually the introduction from a famous song called Mr. Bojangles. Now, if I sing a little bit of that, I knew a man Bojangles and he danced for you. In worn-out shoes, silver hair and ragged shirt and baggy pants, the old soft shoe. Now for me, that is a little bit low for my voice. The key of C major, I'm right at the bottom of my voice, and I'm not a singer, but if I was just going to do a singer-guitarist gig somewhere and sing and play Mr. Bojangles, well, I've got the guitar riff sounding good, but it's a little bit low for my voice. So what I'd like to do is take that tune, the whole tune, up a semitone. Now, because the riff involves open strings as well as closed strings, if I try and play that song in C sharp using the same finger grips, I'm going to run into some serious trouble here. I don't think I'm going to get too far doing that because the combination of open strings that have not moved and closed strings which have moved just gives me a disastrous scenario. But this is a musical use of the capo. If I now put the capo on fret 1 and play the same riff that I played before using exactly the same strings, same chord grips, don't forget all of my open strings this time have moved up a fret, up a semitone. So now my existing guitar riff is in C sharp major, doing nothing new on the guitar, but for my voice, a better key. I knew a man Bojangles and he danced for you. Worn-out shoes, silver hair and ragged shirt and baggy pants, the old soft shoe. He jumped so high, he jumped so high, then it lightly touched down. Now to play any of that guitar backing in C sharp major without the capo is an absolute nightmare. Yes, I know how to play a C sharp chord. And yes, if my fingers were bigger and longer, I could sort of reproduce that riff, not in any way, shape or form easily. I enjoying that? No. Does it sound good? Not really, because it's painful. That's just not an easy guitar riff to shift up a semitone, but with the capo, absolutely. Now finally, many of the famous songs that you hear recordings of, the guitar players used capos when they recorded. Think of the Beatles, George Harrison's beautiful song, Here Comes the Sun. It was originally recorded in the key of A. Here comes the sun, da da da. It's in the key of A, but that doesn't reproduce how the Beatles' guitar start sounded in any way. Nothing like that at all. But if I put my capo down here on the 7th fret and play a D chord, there's that famous Beatles start. Now it sounds like, here comes the sun. We're in the same key, but we've got that amazing sound where we're now using D shapes and G shapes and A7th shapes and E7th shapes, but the capo has shifted those chords into the key of A. One final tip, if you play along with friends who play any of the E-flat wind instruments, the alto sax, the baritone saxophone, the sopranino sax, if you put your capo on the 3rd fret, you and the E-flat instrument player can then read off the same music. So if you were playing a song like Song of Joy and you were reading off the same sheet music, the sax player could play the normal in the key of C, E, F and G, and you could back them up reading the same sheet music because you have transposed up the 3 semitones required to match the E-flat instruments. Remember, when an E-flat instrument plays their note C, it's actually E-flat for concert pitch instruments like the guitar. So if you have a friend who plays the alto saxophone and you want to read off the same music, whether you're reading lead or chords, put a capo on the 3rd fret and you can both read off of the same music score. I hope you've enjoyed that. Bye for now.